I need to get back.
Yes.
All righty, let's see who first. We have out in the technology land. Yeah, anybody?
Nope, no one.
Okay. All right, so there's gonna call the meeting order, and we're gonna skip to item 4 in our agenda. That's a bit okay. So,
So, Mr. Chairman, do either of you ladies want to just
Yeah.
give the commissioners a breakdown of all the work you did? Yeah, it's unanimous, nobody died.
yes, nobody did any work.
So we went out with a couple companies to have a trial done on 2 different products for incontinence. So they came in, did a 2-week trial. We gave it a week off, did another trial, and then we decided that we would put a bid out to try to get a better product than the product that we have now.
So basically, the trial was on the unit.
Yeah.
And
You picked one here, or did you use multiple?
One unit.
it would have been, I think, too difficult, but they supplied the product for that period of time. And
How long a period of time?
It was 2 weeks with one company, the week off, and then another 2-week trial with another company.
Okay. I'll see this one's fun.
we asked for 2 bids from
Oh, Imperial, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Imperial bid.
You'll probably get some duplicates, Mr. Chairman, because I think we asked for 2 copies.
Yeah, 2 copies of each bid.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right, I get you.
That way we can keep the original here and the ladies could take the bid back and analyze it and report back to you again.
We're probably gonna table this stuff anyway, right?
I would think so, sir.
All right, we got one from McKesson. In here, Robert, what's in?
Well, it's.
Is there a summary page?
Well, individual price.
Oh, individual prices, individual stuff, yeah. Yeah, you're gonna have. You wanna look at that? Okay. Put this one and stuff like that and stuff.
It might be different too.
It might be a different product.
These have different things on them. So
Oh,
they
yeah.
might open this
Yeah.
up.
Might have different thought. Won't think this one might be a copy, right?
It could be, but usually they. will-
They break it down.
Price per product.
Oh, I get you.
It's like Christmas morning.
Yeah, look at all these products. Yeah, you guys gonna have fun figuring that all out.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. But you never had so much fun.
They worked
Looking over adult briefs in your life, right?
Yeah.
They worked really hard to coordinate. They worked really hard to coordinate these events.
Yeah, I bet.
It was a lot of work and
It is.
a lot of, some amount of work for the staff, a lot of staff input. And I'm really proud of the initiative that they took and all the effort they put into it.
I put a lot of effort in getting the bid open. It goes.
Yeah,
That one was very
I guess
This one's really sealed. There's no leaks in this. We don't have any leaks in this one.
Like publishing.
Yeah, he might have melted it.
That's fine.
Oh, you might be trying to do, that's gonna be expensive. There you go, Robert, look that over. Look, I'll do this next one open, take me half an hour.
This has also led us to review then this has also led us to review some of the other products that
Yeah.
we were using for wound care and those things too, which these two ladies spearheaded. More in relation to superior products, that's been helpful and effective for us too.
Boy, times have changed. I can remember when they first had adult brief. And we debated here, I debated with Paul and Roll Rovers. Because I wanted to do it, and we had staff who used to wash diapers. And that's what they did. That's all they did was wash diapers, wash diapers, and people would bring rags in, donate, and we'd cut rags up and use them for diapers. And we had probably 6 or 8 people employed that did that. It was not a good job. You had to think the date over it. Because my colleagues at the time didn't want to have to lay off the staff, because there'd be nothing for them to do once you went to the briefs. And then we had another expense in disposal, like in disposing of the briefs. We had to, so we debated it for weeks on end. Come a long ways now. Now you get about 100 different products in there.
Well, they're also superior in skincare.
Right, right.
It's you know, the difference is substantial.
Right. That was the first one, Ron. Yeah. That was the Imperial date.
So if you ladies would look through this, leave the
Yeah.
one bid here, and you take the second bid with you.
Okay.
Just make sure you know, we have a full copy left here so that, you know, we'll have it. Then you can just leave the full copy, with Janet, and then you guys can take the second copy.
Okay.
Yeah, good luck looking through it all.
Well, the thing is, I think that they were involved from the
Yeah,
very
from the
beginning.
beginning.
Yeah, so it'll make it a little easier for them to review the.
Anything that's gonna make their job easier, they're all more cool.
Well, you know, the biggest thing is, you know, proper skincare and.
Right.
and we use in tremendous amounts in the facility, so.
Yeah.
It's. You know, a piece of it, the biggest piece is proper skincare. The secondary big piece is having product that works well for the staff. Product that we've been using for years, they changed that product and made it difficult for the staff to use and it just made it was difficult to fit. And
Thank you.
but it's tremendously important.
This one doesn't have 2 copies. For this bid.
Well,
I'll ask the Sharon to come and help you make a copy of it here. Okay.
all righty, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move to the table. In a second. All in favor, table, say aye. Oh. We can go back from administration. Thank you. I want us to approve the minutes of the 2027, July 2nd. Any comments, changes? Okay.
Sharon will meet you guys.
All those in favor, Dr. saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. All right, now we're gonna move on to item 2. Mike,
Hey,
how are you?
good, how are you? Yeah, just for my request for capital budget items, most of them are for the facility and not really the physical therapy department itself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We don't need any bars or anything? Huh?
No.
No bars or?
I won't put in for the beer refrigerator yet.
Yes.
Or the pool, but you know, I thought it didn't go the first time, I wasn't gonna make it this round.
Therapy pool would be a nice thing to have though. You know,
Oh, yeah. I could do my laps there. That would be great.
I'm not talking about you, Mike, I'm talking about the residents.
Oh, no. Well, I am too, of course. Yeah, so basically, we gotta replace a lot of, the shower chairs in the facility.
Yeah.
Each unit probably has 2 or 3 chairs. I think the last person that ordered them was Sandy. So they're,
Cindy Russo?
God bless
Yeah.
us all.
Oh my God.
so, yeah, they're kind of in a,
Yeah, it's been around a long time.
the others are the Hoyer lifts and the, stand lifts. Basically, we just replace the ones that are breaking down. They get beat on quite a bit. Maintenance does a great job at constantly rebuilding them after they get busted or the motors get wrecked or so.
Right.
We do keep them, or they keep them going quite a long time. But after 5, 6 years,
I imagine the motors must be bad.
well,
Wear on them. That's
well,
a cost for them.
yeah, and they're expensive. So that's basically what I'm asking for, just to replace the equipment as it gets run down and,
And just remember, this is a 6-year capital, plan, so it's not like replacing everything.
and a lot of the prices, I go through a couple different vendors. And if I can get 2, I'll get cheaper. Sometimes I can buy their demo model that they bring around for, I use. So I have a lot of connections with that and usually can get a better price than that's listed. And the only thing for the therapy department that I requested was just it was a stand, it was just a stand lift. Just for those residents that basically when they go to the hospital or they get sick or they're losing their ability to transfer, we try to work on their standing tolerance, and a lot of times we try to stand them at the bars and hold them up, and this thing would actually lock their knees in place so they're secure, and they'll feel much more secure in it. And it's important to hear that we keep people in the stand lift as opposed to the Hoyer lift. And the Hoyer lift is that sling and picks you up. And once people move to that, they lose their ability to be able to get transferred to the, to the bathroom. And so we try to, keep the residents going as long as we can with the other. And that's,
So primarily there's an independent transfer, with a which we have very few residents. Then there's a transfer with an assist. And then there's a standard pivot, and then the Hoyer is the last step. It's kind of a progression of things. Part of the OT and PT's goal is to work with the residents to keep them at the lowest possible transfer status. And as Mike says, when people come back from the hospital, those people that come back to us or come out of the hospital and suffer from weakness, it's easier. We would like to gradually bring them back to independent transfer, although that doesn't always happen. So we'll use whichever product Mike does the assessments for everybody that transfers. Because it really needs to be a physical therapist. So Mike's, we have to, it might show a little how desperate we are. Mike is, does all the assessments for, what pieces of equipment. And that can change. We do morning report at 9 o'clock every day. And there probably isn't a day that goes by when there isn't a request for reconsideration of transfer for one of our residents that Mike will go on.
yeah, and like I said, it's so important that we keep them out of the Hoyer lifts, just
Right.
because once we do that,
So
taking
Well,
their independence.
they can't build it, right?
And the other thing is, some of the residents feel that, it's a real, it's a significant change in their condition that they can see and that they can feel. And when that happens, some residents become really deflated in you know, in how they're feeling about themselves and their physical abilities. So for as much as we can use the stand and pivot lift, you know, that seems to go over pretty well with the residents.
How many of them do you have? One?
No, we have two Hoyer lifts.
No, I'm talking about the standard.
Oh, the one I want for the PT department?
Yeah.
Oh, just one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's gonna be in the therapy department.
Okay.
So when people come down for therapy, you know, we work with them individually. And
One's enough for you? The way the layout is?
yeah, one is enough.
Okay,
Yeah. 'cause
all right.
believe it or not, with
I'm in a good mood. I want to give you two.
yes,
Okay.
I can ask for that beer refrigerator. Yeah.
So Doug's been
Well, my concern is, as you know, is that 80% or probably 85% of the population is wheelchair, bound. So my concern is that over the next 6 years, 100% of the residents are going to be wheelchair bound. It's headed. So I didn't know if one was going to be enough since it's a 6-year plan. We might want to consider putting another one in there.
I think staffing wise, possible.
That would be.
Mike would only be able to work one at a time anyway, even though we have physical therapy assistants.
Yeah,
You know, we do a lot of physical therapy up on the units. Not everybody is, comes down. to the
Everybody comes
physical
down,
therapy
right.
center. So it's done in all places. And when it comes to, fortunately, say this out loud, we're clear of COVID, as you know. But when COVID takes place, a lot of the movement in the facility freezes. Fortunately, or unfortunately, for the residents that had COVID on our unit, it didn't spread to other units, so there wasn't some additional mobility throughout the facility, except on that unit.
yeah. That's your whole list?
That's it.
Wow.
This thing looks really interesting.
Yeah,
Take
most,
more than one person to help put the resident in.
yeah, it's usually a two-person. Right in our policies for the lifts, the stand lifts and the Hoyer lifts, it required 2 aides.
The Hoyer, particularly, and the standard, because it really have to be,
Yeah,
the resident needs to be exactly placed in the right position so that there wouldn't be,
Skin table.
blow or fall. There's no worse disaster than a fall out of the Hoyer. And I would like to tell you over the course of 36 years that it's never happened, but that's not true.
Most of things that it's never happened.
Yeah, no, it's happened, but not in.
like twice.
Yeah,
Really not
I
a
think
lot, yeah.
I only remember one that had any consequence of that. That was 30 years ago. Well, they're like a tripod shape, so the wheels are spread out, so they're quite stable. But as you know, one of our biggest issues is size of residence. We're in a situation of being asked to take more and more residents, in excess of 300 pounds. And that's a challenge for some of our lists. Also, if a resident of size falls, we use a Hoyer lift because the new Hoyer lifts,
Right, we'll go
the
down.
new ones, but it wasn't that long ago, they wouldn't go down that far. Now they'll go down, and of course, once we assess.
We just have to leave them
not
like that.
hurt, we can use a Hoyer pad and a Hoyer lift them. When in the past, we used to have to call the House of Correction to send correctional officers over to help us lift some of our larger residents. But the demand for admissions moves towards a larger list.
All right. You guys any questions, Mike?
All good. Thank you,
Hey,
sir.
brother.
Good to see you again. I'll be back in a few months.
Bye, Mike.
Bye-bye.
We will be so kind.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Thank you, man.
Give me the warning.
Thank you. Doug, did you have more stuff for us or?
I believe, I just had something to bring up with the commissioners, the Chico Marathon
Yeah.
that runs across the property. I received a call from Vicky Chase, who is either the head or involved in the running of the marathon. I received a call from her earlier and we asked for permission to place a porta potty at the intersection of where the driveway through covered bridges.
Yeah.
Headed off to the trail, kind of County Farm Road extension.
Right.
I told her I didn't have an issue with that, but that I would bring it to the commission to see if that was okay. It's less than 48 hours, it would be just during the marathon.
Okay. That'll be good.
I'm so low on this.
No problem. All right, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, we got you here. You haven't got the estimates on the asphalt and stuff yet, right?
Yes,
You did?
yes, it is.
What's that number?
We have it for 3 places. And let me just check here. So we broke it up into 3 different projects. We're going to do Hyder, and then we'll do the
Yep.
upper and lower lots, the entryways, and the main drive for Riverside, and then we'll do the upper and lower lots for the jail. Right now, our paving for the jail. Pardon me, I'll just bring this up. I believe it is 62,000 for the upper and lower lots. Just give me one more.
Is that just simply resurfacing or they're gonna grind it?
They're going to be doing some correction of the drainage. There's a
Right.
lot of areas where
Yeah.
they're concerned about potholes and some
Yeah.
drainage issues. They're also going to take care of the tops of the catch basins for us. They're going to repoint the top of the catch basin, which is another problem.
Yeah.
One of the issues we have is snow storage. When we plow that lot, all of the salt and snow goes into a pile. Of course, that slow drains and just basically eats the catch basins away. So we're working on getting the snow out of there and off down to the fields fast, but sometimes it's tough when it's a multi-day storm, and of course, we have overtime issues and staffing issues.
So right now, we're bucket loading into dump truck and hauling it to the field, kind of at the top of the crest as you're heading back to the old Humane Society.
Yeah.
We plow an area back there and then dump it in the piles.
So from, rest of that,
Correct.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's the crest of the hill.
Yeah.
And then it flows down, into as it melts, it floats away from the pavement.
right,
But as Doug said, sometimes it takes us, a few days because we're
Right.
tying up.
precedent.
Well, at least two of our maintenance. Staff.
So, Mr. Chairman, the figure that I'm putting in for the 6-year plan for the upper and lower lots for the HOC is $69,300. And I'll get you the number here for Hyder. Hyder again has a lot of conditions over there in the pavement where it's not just a simple resurface. There's a lot of drainage. Because again, it's fill over there, so of course there's a lot of settling. We're concerned about areas around the front of the building, especially where there's supports in the sidewalk.
And it has to be a regrade there, because I was noticing it during the last rain.
Correct. Yeah, there's been a lot of patches and repairs that kind of interfere with that. And again, salt damage and erosion. The number that I'm putting at, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, it's very flat over there. 27,000, and that includes maintenance purchasing 15 gallons of sealer for the concrete sidewalks. We're noticing erosion on the concrete sidewalks now due to salt. We had tried a concrete safe alternative last year, and it did not perform for us. It was a beet juice based product. What we found is that it melted the snow and the ice, but immediately refroze. It didn't really have any after effect on it. It made it very, very slippery afterwards. So I'm concerned about protecting the walkways over there in good shape. I'd like to keep them like that. And again, folks coming in and out of Hyder, different mobility issues with walkers and wheelchairs and things like that. It's important to me that they have a flat surface over there in good shape.
And unlike other spots in the county, it's not like people who are coming to visit people at Hyder can say, oh, I'll come tomorrow, when the sun's out and things melt. There frequently is a need for them to come today if they, want to pay their appropriate respects to people that are housed at Hyder. Which includes basically 24 hours a day.
Sure, yeah, it's a priority of maintenance is to keep that open and available and make sure that everything's good over there. The number that we're putting in for right now is $26,500 to redo Hyder's paving, and that's the entire lot, including the green entry.
We got for the courthouse, anything?
Courthouse, we're gonna maintain, we think we can keep the lot here for another 6 years. Jim Gagne took care of the problem areas that we had out back.
Yeah.
The real issues for the courthouse right now.
It's drainage.
Drainage, exactly, and we have a plan to address that and get quotes on that. I can give you
Okay.
that number if you're interested, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things we covered in the prior meeting.
Yeah, we covered that, I think we did that. I
Okay.
remember correctly.
Okay, yeah, I believe
30,000.
it's around $30,000, right, yeah, to take care of the swale around the outside.
Okay. All right.
And Doug, how about the front of Riverside?
The front of Riverside repaving, or we have two issues. We have the repaving, which is the amount I just provided to you. The other issue we have is culvert damage. The bottom of the culverts are rotting out due to salt, and many of the culverts over there are driven over daily. So we're getting a figure between $10,000 and $20,000 to remove those culverts.
We gotta, I wanna put in that realignment of that lower lot, and I've discussed that with you a couple of times.
Yeah, we talked about it, Doug.
Right.
Yeah, and it's included in that.
That's included? Okay, all right.
Yeah, we lost one of the areas that
Yeah, last year, looking at budget wise, it just made sense. If you're familiar, Mr. Chairman, with the ramps that go between the upper and lower lots at either end of the
Yep.
lot in front of Riverside. The one on the right rapidly deteriorated during a heavy rain incident. So it was my decision to just completely remove the ramp and culvert. It's problematic in the wintertime. Folks fall on it.
Yeah.
It's really not suitable area to have somebody enter as somebody's entering the lot. So we just removed that completely and made it an open ditch. But grading of that and drainage and getting the water out of there as fast as possible is the priority of that project. And we're in good shape. We've made a lot of improvements the last 2 years. I've been working closely with Verdantis. Those are the folks that handle our MS4 permitting for the state. And they've got great suggestions and a great program, and they've been a real good partner. We've been having a Zoom call briefly every Tuesday with them for a while now.
Yeah,
Great resource.
well, I got you here. I'd like to have you look at the road extension that goes down to the old covered bridge.
Yes.
I know we have a path that was created, people walk down there, we got some big stones. Out there. I don't know if we want to put any money in there, if it's over 6 years, that's gonna, yeah, as you know, the asphalt's deteriorated.
Yeah,
And we got trees growing in there, we got all kinds of things happening down there.
Sure,
So,
sure. We do a cleanup every spring. It grows quickly down there. It's wild area. So the
Yeah.
plants really thrive down there. We have been adding loam, we've been adding stone dust, we've been adding riprap as fast as we can to keep it there. The residents use that trail every day with golf
Right.
carts and back
Right.
and forth, and folks commute actually from Rochester. I've seen through there with bicycles, mopeds and such. We keep a good eye on it. It would be beneficial to pave that.
It would be, if something's like 6 or 8 feet wide, pave the path.
Sure, yeah, about maybe 150 feet or so.
Yeah.
Not that much.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I'll look into
Yeah,
that.
look into that.
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, the bridge is new, the walking bridge is new.
Mhm.
I walked it when we were checking for a resident.
Mhm.
I walked it and there is people that, use that walk.
Sure, yeah, the marathon, actually, she had called, her initial contact with me, she was concerned about one of the boards on the bridge. So we sent George Abbott down, he's a great woodworker, went down and recreated a board and placed it in the bridge, and now the bridge is safe for the marathon, so. We keep a pretty good eye on this stuff. I'm thankful that folks have a good eye on it and bring things to our attention as soon as we can. Okay. I will look into that, Mr. Chairman.
All right, I appreciate that. All right. I don't think we're gonna move off the Doug, right? Is there anything else, Rick?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doug.
Thanks.
And you're continuing to work with Janet to separate the items out between Riverside.
Yeah.
Because I'm anxious to start calling the subcommittee.
Yeah, we should have that wrapped up midday today.
Great. We'll, Janet, you and I will work perhaps getting the subcommittees in, in the next week or two.
Thank
And
you.
I'm delaying the executive committee meeting a little bit longer than usual with the idea that we'd have a subcommittee meeting, have subcommittee reports to review.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
All righty. Kathy,
Good morning,
good
everyone.
morning.
So I'm here today to recognize that we have 145 books that still need to be repaired and restored.
Yeah.
They are on a civic paper. They're every year.
we've been
It
doing
gets worse and worse.
So,
And I'm very thankful. I mean, it's wonderful that the county has been so committed, in making sure that that's done on a yearly basis. There are many counties where they're just doing it now, like a big project. I know that there's one county that's got 5 million, or they're planning almost 2 million to get it all done, because they haven't been, doing it, over the years. So it is mandated by statute as well. The RSA 478(1) mandates that we keep the books in good repair. Now, we can keep going along and doing a few books every year. The problem with that, though, is that when I first came here, we could easily do 10 books for $30,000. That's usually what's been budgeted. This year, in past few years, we keep going down. So, for example, this year, we're going to do 6 books for $28,000. And it's only, I believe, going to get worse. And if we stay with 6 books with 145, we're looking at almost another 25 years to get those 145 books done. Co-file did come in on July 9th, representatives to give us an estimate, and you have that paperwork for that. It is $480,269, I believe, to have that done. In the letter that was sent to me by the representatives for co-files, that they indicated that if we did it in bulk, that they would give a discount. So I followed up and said, well, what are you actually talking about for a discount? And so we do it in bulk, we'd look at maybe between 5 and 10% discount. And there'd be no shipping costs or handling costs, with regard to that, which is always an expense every year as well, which drives me the wall. And remember years ago when we looked, though, Ray, if you recall, we looked at a lot of other preservation, preservationists. It was over the top.
I can just give you a little background. Remember, Mr. Chairman, that a number of years ago, when we committed to doing, setting aside so and so much per year,
right.
we went up bid.
Yeah.
And the bid was significantly different between, I never can say their name correctly.
Yeah, co-file.
Co-file. I keep wanting to call them Kofi, but it's co-file. Their bid was substantially lower, so we just, they continued their pricing. The problem is that we're afraid, and I share the registrar's fear, is that by the time we get to some of these books on the end, that they're going to be non-restorable.
Right.
Because it's another, as Kathy Barry said, another 25 years before we finish at the rate at which we're going. And none of us can predict that, but it would appear as if they're not, that some, we're gonna lose them, and we're required by law to make them. So I think that, again, the contributions the counties has made over the years has put us into a position where we don't need to spend 2 million,
Right.
5 million, and as other counties find themselves in that position. But I think we're kind of running out of time, is the bottom line. And if you remember, the beginning, we were kind of picking low-hanging fruit.
Right.
So some of the books that we send were probably in better shape because we were trying to get as many books done as we could. But I think, we're now in a position where the books are getting that much older and that much more costly to repair. But as you've seen, once the repair is done, they're beautiful.
They're beautiful. And it's just a wealth of historical, I don't need to say that, and, but not only that, it's legal, and they're required by the statute to make sure that those documents are
The problem
protected
is,
for the
we don't
future.
do it, nobody will do it,
Right.
all that
Right.
history gets lost, and a lot of times that history is
But it
important.
is
Well, it's-
mandated as well.
It's important, you know, in a lot
Title
of,
search.
in a lot of
state-
title searches and
state
issues. Yeah.
And what, and it does say at the expense of the county, I mean,
Right.
that's the thing, we need to, that's in the statute as far as what who's required to be paying for those books. I do have, we have, when it's 145 volumes and you're looking at, 2 volumes, usually each a book, so we're looking at about 300. But I think we have the space, so I don't need to buy any more shelving. And if we did, I can, I have other source for that, but, and the deeds equipment fund, that we could use money for
Right.
that. So I'm not asking for that. I do feel compelled, something I learned, I feel like I should say is that, when I was talking to the preservationists who came, look at, they said, really, from 1990 back, a lot of that paper was on acidic paper. So we're not looking at 1990 back, we're only looking at from the time where they started being from handwritten to typed, because that has been
Yeah.
So this is what I'm focusing on now, but I feel it's important for us to be aware of that hopefully, whether in the future, that might be another issue. I know there's always something coming along, but I've provided, they provided for me, pictures I provide to all of you of some of the books with the tape and some of the
Right.
other, issues, with those. And as well as
You think of all the human hands that have touched the roll of
Yes,
hands and all
of
that
course.
becomes acidic on over time on
Yeah.
that paper.
it is,
That's what
I
happens.
do have
too.
another book, and we have, and some of these, like, for example, this isn't the worst one. And I'm happy for, obviously, I've said this in the past, but I'm happy for anyone to come down to the registry and go through all these books. So you can see it more one-on-one, but, some of them some of them are starting to rip. There's like, for example, there's like here that this kind of was put in, but that needs to be taken care of. I mean, these are all land records that have legal significance. So I do feel strongly that it needs to be done. And again, it would be much more cost effective
Sure.
to do it now than to wait
Get it over.
over because if it's only 6 books to 7 books a year now,
Yeah, I know.
within a few years, it's gonna be maybe 4 books and then 3, it's getting, I spoke with someone in another county, yesterday. They said they had 1 book. Now, they didn't use co-file. I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
that, $8,000 for 1 book because they felt like they needed to have it done. And,
Well, it's a lot of
Carol
work.
spent, yeah, I mean, there's been millions of dollars spent in different counties, to get these done.
So Kathy, so the worksheet says 480, and then the spreadsheet says 400. Which are you
Oh, no,
asking for?
the spreadsheet is, $480,289.
Yeah, we-
And I'm hoping,
Yeah, this-
Yeah, I already said 400.
Sorry, I did not take that.
Yeah, that's a typo.
Okay,
We didn't update it
I have an
after.
updated one.
okay, all right.
Yeah, there was, I thought the initial was a guess.
It doesn't, so I'm hoping then that the discount will, yeah, and I will be pushing for the highest discount.
Well, if we put that all in the bid initially,
That's the,
Yeah.
that's the updated one.
okay. Yeah, I know
I'll write it down and then.
it.
Don't worry, I'm keeping track.
I don't have,
And
I've been talking about this for 30
I
years, so
know,
it's like.
well, we're fortunate in this county that everyone's so aware of it and
Right.
has been so committed to doing it because when you speak with other places, sometimes,
Oh, I get put on the
they're
back.
trying to do everything all at once, so it's a much bigger chunk. So, thank you. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Any other questions? Okay.
You don't need anything else in terms of rack storage or anything
No,
else?
I think we're all set with that. I think we can take care of that. Thank you.
You don't need a new office like that, Sean, do you?
I'm very happy with that. Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you.
TV, yeah, whatever else you just need. All right, Raymond, let's talk about this new gun law, which is probably an old gun law. I
I,
don't know if there's any.
it's my understanding from the Healthcare Association, Mr. Chairman, that it kind of snuck through and it was signed by the governor. And it's of no issue to us. I just simply, could we just ask the sheriff?
Yeah, he's right here. Well, Sheriff Enderman.
The new gun law that was signed in, I believe was signed in, kind of snuck through the legislature and signed in by the governor, just allows any entity that has Medicare or Medicaid, which obviously would be Riverside, and to an extent, the House of Correction, just to bring weapons in, but leave them locked in your vehicle. Now, we'd have no way no way to know that anybody was doing that anyway. But for whatever reason, the legislature decided that apparently in some businesses, they don't allow that to occur. We've never had such a rule, and we certainly don't check people's cars. But I thought it was important, where I knew you were gonna be here, to let you know that, and it's never been an issue in all my years here. It's just simply a new law I wanted to make sure that you're aware of, and all it means is that they can keep firearms locked in their vehicle. Which really is the same thing that we enforce here at the courthouse, right? If somebody comes in with a firearm, we ask them just to return to the parking lot, lock it in their vehicle. They can come in the building.
Right. And no more enforcement.
Yeah. So I just wanted to let you know that, Mr. Chairman, I was just notified. Somehow the Association of Counties, I don't know if they missed it or what, but I learned it from the Healthcare Association. Brandon Williams sent out an email. I fortunately, I'm on his email chain.
All right. Well, like you said, I mean, they're probably doing it now, you don't even know.
I have no way of knowing, nor do I care.
Yeah, well,
I mean, it's not been an
probably,
issue.
probably not an issue in the nursing home.
Well, we-
If somebody's got a gun, we've had people walk weapons. The mag and send people back.
Right. It happens all the time, and then
happens all the time.
the onus is on them to make sure they secure it properly. Not just leave it on the front seat or whatever, that could be dangerous, although the law isn't very specific, but it has to be locked and secured so that nobody would have access to it.
And the bailiff, the gentlemen and ladies at the bailiff station do make recommendations about making sure that it's secured well.
Now, we've made upgrades to our camera system up front, right? I remember we did that a couple of years ago. That functioning okay, the camera system does.
Our external camera is actually a very good coverage of the building.
Okay.
I know the incident you're talking about.
Yeah.
That was, I think they were in the rebuilding phase, but we had probably a couple month period that we didn't have much coverage in or out. That's
not the case.
been addressed over the last couple of years. We've added, some of them were still using the old coax.
Yeah.
So we've tried to phase those out as much as possible, replaced single units as we needed to. And between the courtrooms, hallways, common areas, and the exterior is very well covered.
The other thing is, Mr. Chairman, that was part of our last 6-year capital
Right.
plan, if you remember.
But all the technology changed.
Yeah, but it was done towards, and I
Towards the end.
accept full responsibility for this. It was done, it should have been done earlier in the 6-year plan than it was. And you know, I delayed it. But fortunately, it was completed before there was any incident. The one incident that we did have, we were prepared for that incident. Fortunately, the sheriff's department was prepared for when the gentleman just wanted to check his AK-47 in the bailiff station. You know, which obviously, the ladies and gentlemen that work at the bailiff station have no protection at the time. Somebody if they wanted to use that weapon, which is what we were told was going to happen. But we confronted the gentleman on the outside, and was able to disarm him. But we quickly, I think, because we had the advantage of having the gentleman who designed the security for the federal courthouse, was a consultant to us. He designed the security for this building. And it certainly made the employees and people using the building much more comfortable. And the fact the sheriff's department is located in the basement, as opposed to across the street like it was in the old days. I think also contributes. And correct me if I'm wrong, we've drilled and drilled and drilled. We do. For a shooting situation. There's no logical reason to think that it couldn't be us when it happens throughout the country. There's no reason to think it couldn't happen in New Hampshire. So I think the sheriff's department has done a great job at preparing us for that potential disaster through drills and through the renovation of the front of the building and the bailiff stations. And I think we've done it without any major inconvenience to the public. I think we went out of our way to do that because it is a little more difficult in federal courthouse, to get in. But I think we've done it with the least amount of inconvenience to the public, and the maximum amount of security for the people that utilize the building and the employees that work in the building. Because I think we all recognize it's a multi-use building. It's not just a courthouse.
Okay, well, I'm good. Thanks, guys. Steve? You guys don't have any questions, do you? I'll make sure I bring my BB gun next time I come.
Just don't bring it through the mag.
All right, we got upcoming events. Ray, so I know we discussed bringing in the subcommittees.
So my plan, Mr. Chairman, is as soon as, now that you've heard all the capital requests.
Yeah.
What I would like to do is have Janet and primarily Dougie.
Yeah.
But Bill get with all the other things listed on, now that we have some more refined numbers than we did in the original document.
Right.
We're also going to include in each appropriate place, we are going to include a contingency, which will be like right next to the item, and then a total. And then I would divide it up by subcommittee.
Yep.
And I can do sure that the people who did the presentations to you, we can do, I guess it'll be just about every subcommittee. So I'll bring in all the subcommittees at the earliest convenience of the subcommittee chairs. And then we'll bring in,
So you're gonna reach out to them sometime, I'm assuming the chairman.
like now,
Yeah.
I'm gonna reach out first of all to see if I can get Chairman Schmidt to call me back. And then let him know that that's going on.
Yeah.
And then ask his, I wouldn't say permission, but ask him to agree that.
To coordinate.
Yeah, to help and to, then we'll reach out to each committee chair and hopefully within, what I'd like to do next week is have it all set up for you guys to vote on it. That this is what you want to pursue, have it all broken down the way I've asked for it to be broken down. I'm also gonna ask Diane, to do a little work on the nursing home stuff to determine the rate at which we would be reimbursed. Which I know Diane can do, because she has to do it for the cost report.
Yeah.
So we would have another column with the rate at which we're reimbursed on a yearly basis, based on the cost. It's obviously based on the cost of the item. If the cost went up or down when we went out to bid, then the reimbursement will go up or down, depending on what it is.
Yeah.
And also remember, it'll depend on the, on
On interest.
on the interest rate. Because it's reimbursable interest included. And there's no question in my mind with the low reimbursement rate that we get now for capital. That all of that it won't reach the maximum by any stretch of the imagination. So it's just a matter of, you know, this will be divided by 10, this will be divided by 20, this will be divided by 5, this will be divided by 6. So Diane, I'm gonna ask Diane to do that out, so that will become obvious. And then, once you guys approve it, we'll get subcommittees in, and I'm gonna humbly ask the chairman, Schmidt, to delay the second quarter budget meeting. Which reports are due to me Friday for any overages. Overall, the second quarter budget meets numbers. And then we will ask. We'll run the numbers, we'll run the committee reports by the executive committee, and then call the full delegation. Which I'm hoping to do end of August. You know, middle that amount of time, depending on the availability of the subcommittee chair. I'm taking no vacation this year, so I'm available all the way through. At the convenience of convenience of the subcommittees.
All right. Sounds like a good plan. You guys want any direction, questions?
Just two Mondays. Opening game and,
Yeah,
and
right.
another Monday in November, because I can't fly home, I can't fly back anymore on Sunday nights. There's no Sunday night flights out of Buffalo.
Well, then you just can't go.
Yeah. So I have to fly back on Monday, so I'll just need 2 Mondays.
I know.
I fly out on Saturday.
Yeah.
So I don't, and then fly back on Monday. One's to Buffalo and the other one's to Indianapolis.
Mm.
It's a place I haven't been yet, so that'll cut it down to 5.
So where happens after that, after Indianapolis?
San Francisco, Seattle, Chicago. I was scheduled to go to Chicago, but I got snowed out. And there's, I can't remember the other. Arizona and Las Vegas.
Oh,
You know, because now they're in Las Vegas. The year that Buffalo played in Las Vegas was COVID year. So I have to wait for the rotation to come back around. So now, yeah, I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, and I grew up in Buffalo. So my lifelong goal was to see Buffalo play in every NFL stadium. I'm getting a little more nervous now with the cycle around through at my age, so I'm hoping I can make it. But I only have, like I said, after Indy, there'll be 5 left. Then I got chipped out of Chicago and Los Angeles, one for COVID and one for snow.
Spend your time to make it.
I'm hoping so, sir. I'm hoping so.
All right. Item C is the announcement of the 40th anniversary of the Humane Society. Back in September.
Is there time for that, or?
They didn't specify a time yet, but they were hoping to use the parking area for guests.
I already authorized that,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman. I didn't think that it needed to come to.
They don't need the 10th, do
I can make it. I'll ask Janet to check with them, and I'll make sure with community, or Chris or I will make sure with community work that that the 2 tents are available, and we would, of course, we don't let anybody set them up or take them down, because when we've done that in the past, they ripped it, so we do that ourselves. But they've been in use a lot this summer, blueberry festivals, for town related events.
Yeah.
Strafford's used it 2 or 3 times, and it's been used quite a bit by the towns. Then we, of course, used it at Riverside for Mother's Day, Father's Day, those things.
All right, we got any other business? Discuss?
They have received your correspondence, Lou. They
Yeah.
have received it, they just haven't had a chance to review it.
Okay, can I speak about something?
Sure.
One of the, I brought this to your attention before. And it's about, I call it in the military, force multiplier. Having more people than you need to do observations of what's going on. I will walk into the main, forget the force multiplier for a second. That was just a term I was using. I can walk into the main entrance and the people from activities 14 or whatever are walking out of there. Yet I go upstairs and people are locked into unit 5 and people are lined up from the dining hall all the way down the hall, nurse's station around the corner, including my wife. There needs to be someone divide the shift up so that you have coverage from 8 to 3, so you have coverage from whatever. Activities can go up and do activities with the people up there. They don't have to bring them down one at a time down there. You can go up and do it all. But what I'm getting at is you'd have people there to watch over, because I was doing, the drinks and everything else because there was nobody available to do them. An issue happened. I went to the sheriff's department and I got to speak about it. Since that time, I've stopped doing that. Okay, because it's not for me to get in trouble. Okay, and from the bottom of my heart, I want to see people work together to get something done. If people were up there to observe, hey, this one's having an issue, and the staff can respond to it. I'm not asking for them to do anything to respond to anything, hold anybody down. I'm saying you need somebody in a position to be able to see what is going on and report on it. That's what you need. If this doesn't happen, it's going to continue as it is. Staff are totally exhausted. There's just nothing anybody can do. I am disheartened for me to go up there and see the shift nurse pouring drinks, because I'm refusing to do it for now. I may go back to doing it because I'm good at it. I go out and I have a good time with people. I laugh with them. I find myself out of the realm of everything, and it hurts me because I love the staff and I love the people who are there. It's just that simple. But you need to set up a system where people are there in activities 8 o'clock at Saturday night. I don't know what they're doing, but nobody's ever been upstairs. I have watched people from activities after COVID watching the TV, sitting in front of the TV, or talking about how much they make to the patients while I'm passing drinks around, and I'm passing them, and they're oblivious, absolutely oblivious to the fact that I'm doing this because they're watching the TV. I'm sorry I act out. I'm serious. They don't even look around to see what's going on in here. They're posted up there to observe, not to watch TV and be oblivious. They could be passing out drinks to people. I'll go up there in this heat, and my wife drinks 5 of the big cups, the 360s of cups. And I give her ice water constantly because she hasn't had any of it. And I can see it with the same thing with other people. There's not enough people to keep giving them things. You understand where I'm coming from? That's all I'm asking for, sir. I don't want to bring anything else up. But you have a responsibility.
Thank you for your volunteerism.
I try.
I really love Lou.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, he brings his guitar in and plays for him. He does.
I'm lousy.
Lou, they love you.
Everybody loves Lou.
They love you, buddy. And you know that. And you know that the staff appreciates everything you did. There was one unfortunate situation. And I hope you won't let, I hope we can get by that so that.
I want to.
I want to too. So Lou, I was with you on that. I mean, I stuck up for you about the situation. You know that. The sheriff's department told you that. But you know, it was just an unfortunate circumstance, and I'm hoping that, you know, we can use all the volunteer help we can get. I even offered to train you and put you on the payroll, but you didn't want to do that.
I don't want.
No, I tried.
Money, this. Then I gotta work with somebody.
I
I'm not working for anybody.
got it.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I hate it that way. I just.
No, I understand. I understand.
I like to do what I want to do, and I try to do what I can. And that's all I just know the people, and I've been there through people passing away. And I used to go to the Hyder House. I'm exhausted mentally from my wife's situation. I understand it. And I find myself having a hard time going to any place else, even though I used to love to go.
Well, if we'd had many of the things that you're discussing were addressed in the new design and new.
Well, this is something that's happening right here, right now.
Oh, I know, it's a staff, the facility's staff, and it's just.
I can be a jerk. I'm sorry.
No, it's just not, the facility's not designed for.
It's using the staff that you have available
Yeah, it's.
and giving them an order as to, this is how you're gonna work. I haven't gone downstairs before and seen the director when people were just lined up throughout the facility. Can you send somebody up? We're in training. I'm watching someone painting a rock who's been there for 15 years. This is training? You know how I get. I just mumble all the rest of the way up and do what I can.
Well, I appreciate you bringing it to our attention.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Well, I guess we're on item 9, we let Bruce speak, so. Susan, you want to make anything regarding?
I've got a couple of things. First of all, I would like to say, thank you to Lou for the work that he does do over there. I've only known him for a very short period of time, but I feel like, I've gotten to know him pretty well. And, he does it, when he says it comes from the bottom of his heart, I really do think that it comes from the bottom of his heart, and thank you. The second thing, you brought up new nursing home, so I guess I'll just get that question out of the way, because I said I was gonna keep asking you. I know what the answer is, but I'm gonna ask that question anyway. We have an executive meeting coming up. We're gonna have a delegation meeting coming up. Is this something that can be put on the agenda to be discussed? Yes or no?
Well, all I can say is that I read with great interest last week, the representative's comments about construction in the nursing home. For whatever reason, the Republicans believe that we can build this building for $65 million. And I want to say for the record, at least from my perspective, and this is not the commission, this is just me, that if I thought we could build that building for $65 million, I would support it tomorrow. And I know my colleagues probably would too. So we've asked to meet with them to see if we can figure out some way to accomplish what they're looking for. I guess it's real simple. If they think they can build a building for $65 million, then they ought to bring a proposal to us that shows that we can build that building and meet the standards that the federal government has. I would support it myself, okay? But it has to meet the standards that the federal government requires of a new facility. I don't believe that it can be built for that, but maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong, okay? I've spoken to 3 or 4 construction firms since we've had all this. I've talked to about the square footage, requirements. I just don't see that we're physically able to do it. But we're not sitting here as big spenders. We never had a history of being a big spender. I never had a history in 40 years of being a big spender. People know that about me. So all these terms have been used about Taj Mahal and everything else. The bottom line is this: I'll even go to $75 million. So I'll go to $10 million because everyone who I've talked to said there's no way you can build that facility the size it needs to be for 215 beds. The square footage requirements of the federal government.
I wasn't debating all of this.
No, I'm not debating. No, I'm saying, but I'm saying.
What I'm asking for is
Well,
Is there a possibility of getting this on the agenda? Yes or no? It's a simple question.
to what end?
Yeah.
I guess that's my
Air
concern.
out the differences and get this, have some sort of movement. Okay, all right, I got my answer. It's not. The second thing,
Well, it's not no, I just said, if you could bring us a plan that can build that building for $75 million, I'll support, that's not a no, that's something that I myself as one commissioner was willing to look at.
my next discussion point, it was revealed at the last county commissioners meeting that the city of Rochester took the registrar of deeds to court over 3 words, and I have to thank everybody for giving me the documents. I've yet to read through every single thing. And I did go and I did speak during public comment on Tuesday evening. And I guess I'm just, because I haven't read through everything, I'm a little confused. I'm a little concerned, and I'll be honest with you, and I'm gonna say P word. I'm a little pissed to think that we had to spend county money. And there's other communities, Rollinsford, Strafford, many communities that aren't gonna have the benefit eventually of this easement, because this easement was for the benefit of the city of Rochester, and we had to spend county money. I'm getting hit twice with this bill, once as a taxpayer in Rochester and once in my county bill. And I'm not sure, because I'm still wading through all of this, that can you go after the city of Rochester for all of the funds that have been expended? It's much more than legal bills. It's staff time. There was a lot of work that was put into this. And I, for one, I'm just a little upset over this, because just say for argument's sake, it was $40,000 or $50,000. That $40,000 or $50,000 could have been to a much better use in this county for things that it needs than to be screwing around over 3 words. I said my piece.
Mr. Chairman, we did file for legal fees and the judge denied it.
That's correct.
However, if it should be pursued any further, I think now that the judge ruled and then ruled again on a reconsideration, both in favor of the county, that then if there is any further legal action, I think it puts us on better ground to acquire legal fees. And it might even put us on better grounds to get the past legal fees. Even though it was originally denied, I think it takes a different perspective if there's an additional legal, amount, or additional legal work. And you're right, it was a lot more, than just the legal fees that we paid. There was a lot of internal work,
I know, I did a lot of it.
And well, you went to the city manager, I've talked to the mayor repeatedly. I sent him the emails as the case was unfolding. That even, I sent all the emails to him, and so every time I got an email with an update, which is the stuff that you're getting from the Register of Deeds, I forwarded it to the mayor, because I felt, like maybe, cooler heads would prevail and we could get this resolved. But
Can I just ask, did he ever respond back to you?
No.
Or was that time?
the other thing is that I think, and I was not there. I need to preface this from the beginning. I was not there at the hearing, but my understanding is the hearing became on the side of Rochester quite personal, attacking the Register of Deeds, and that's unfortunate. This isn't anything personal. This is just interpreting it's just interpreting the law. And the court verified that. And so that was kind of a sad situation also. There's no need for that.
Alrighty. Well, we can't get the attorney
So far,
so far.
but we're not quitting.
Oh, not yet. It depends.
If he continues to pursue it,
He pursues it with the Supreme Court. That'll be, that might be.
and that'll be a huge expense.
All righty, item 10, Chair will entertain a motion going non-public for personnel and contract negotiations.
So,
Okay, roll call, Commissioner Roll.
yes.
Commissioner Watson, myself, yes, okay, Commissioner will retire to non-public second. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Nice to see you.